Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Are you ready for Windows 11? Well, everybody is. No, but is your computer actually ready for Windows 11? That's a really good question. Now, we did checking based upon the Microsoft website and a little information digging around on my particular security module, which is said to have been compatible with Windows 11. So it's like, great. So every computer in my house, except for my wife's tower, is compatible. Yay! We don't have to worry. Yeah, right. Okay, so the checker program's back up there. And of course, you get these YouTube videos as soon as you open up your page on your home page. And I saw one this morning where it was talking about it's perfectly fine to stay with Windows 10. And basically the way it's being put off is you can basically just stay with it, period, and not have to worry about 11. Well, that's actually a myth. That's completely untrue, and I'm going to debunk that for you real quick by telling you the simple fact that Microsoft has already put out an announcement saying that within the next 2 years, maybe 3 if they stretch it, okay, you never know, but the time period is 2 years, which is the majority of the information we're finding out. They're completely cutting off Windows 10. So you have about 2 years to make sure that you buy yourself a Windows 11 computer. Okay, so it has to be Windows 11. Or you upgrade your current computer, if it's upgradable, to use what would be required for Windows 11. But there's also the freebies in here. You can always just check through your hardware, check through your BIOS, and turn some stuff on that might not be turned on. You know, have your computer inspected by a PC tech if you're not that savvy. He'll find out for you. Just hopefully you go to an honest guy that's not going to rake you for all new hardware because he's dishonest, which can happen, by the way. So you might want to learn how to do this stuff yourself. Really. I mean, I have this saying in life that, you know, if you own a car, you should at least know how to check the oil and your other fluids to maintain those. And then leave everything else up to a mechanic if you don't want to learn how to change your own tires around or rotate them or whatever. Okay, some things definitely allowable, but you got to really know how to check your fluids. Well, with your computer, it's not too much different, really. I don't expect that everybody should know how to work on their own computers, but I do expect that they should at least know how to go through their computer software, their device manager, understand what's going on in there, you know, be able to get into your BIOS and make some basic changes that are going to be a benefit to you. Learn your computer as much as you can. I'm not saying you have to learn how to rebuild it, but you need to learn how some stuff works. And that's very important because it is also going to save you from getting ripped off when it does come time to take it into a repair shop where it's something you can't absolutely handle. So this is a big thing. So anyways, let's continue on with this. So with this, I say, no, you are not fine to stay with Windows 10 indefinitely. I don't care if there's 1.21 gazillion users out there that are using Windows 10. Manufacturers do not have to comply with your wishes of supporting your hardware components forever, okay? And there are a lot of hardware components out there that maybe your motherboard meets the requirements, maybe your processor does, but what about your video card? Maybe your video card isn't up to snuff. Or maybe it is just your processor that is the only thing hanging you up. You need to change that processor. Does your board support the new processor? That's something you may have to actually check into with a PC technician to see if you can just do a simple processor swap to get that last requirement done so you can run Windows 11. It's a heck of a lot cheaper than buying a whole new computer, let me tell you. And the computers that are on the market right now, you can't trust them. Beta testers have already said that computers that they've tested within the age period of 1 to 3 years, okay, and even some brand spanking new ones this year, are not Windows 11 ready. They're not compliant, right? So, you know, it's kind of like, well, how do we know then? Well, you don't trust the stores, that's for sure. Especially Best Buy and few others. Don't trust them. These guys are sales guys. Now, their technicians may not be too bad, some of them, but still, you have to know things. So I would suggest downloading the Windows testing program at the store on computers that you're interested in. Get them to do it for you if you know, because they may have to turn on their internet connection for you. You know, I mean, the thing is, you have a right to know. Before you buy a computer, you have a right to know if that is Windows 11 ready, and they need to be able to prove it to you. Okay, that is your right as a consumer. So use your rights to your advantage. I do. Anyways, so make sure of that. So the checker program is back up there. Now, if it comes up where there's no TPM, it could be that it's just not turned on because manufacturers don't turn them on. Now, this is the thing where we ran into my computer today, now that I've re-downloaded the checker program and actually ran the checker program, because according to their website, everything meets, right? According to the type of security module I have, it's said to be compatible. But it turns out it actually is not compatible. So let me talk about that. Let's go to the screenshot on this and we'll go through the rest of it, okay? All right, guys, so now we're in my device manager here, and under security devices, we're going to click on that tab. Now, if you don't have a security device area, that could definitely be a big problem. But if you do, click the tab and check. Now, my original alleged compatible device is an AMD PSP 3.0 security device, which the internet was saying is actually compatible because I didn't have TPM specific module listed, right? But they say it's compatible, and so it's kind of like, all right, well, everything works with Windows 11, we're all good to go. Because I have an 8-core Ryzen 7, my computer's only 2 years old, blah, 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 okay? So, turns out, I run the checker, it says it's not compatible. What? I'm missing a TPM? How is that possible? I have the equivalent. The internet says this, you know, because I mean, not every tech knows everything either, by the way. So, you know, it doesn't matter how long we've been at this, we find out new stuff all the time. And this is where, when I find out something new, I'm definitely going to share it with you guys, okay? So, now I have a TPM. All of a sudden, it's like magic. All I had to do was go into my BIOS, to my advanced settings for my AMD system, and turn on that feature because it was there. It was just disabled. So I turned it on, I rebooted my computer and reran the program, and now when we fire it up, now this is a weird thing about the PC Health Checkup. I don't know where the main app actually lives in the computer. I haven't found it yet. So you can just rerun the installer. But anyways, it says I'm signed in, blah, 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 Windows, last checked for updates, storage capacity, yada, 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 okay? Tells me 16 gigs of RAM, half a terabyte SSD, and my computer is 2 years old, okay? It's actually under 2 years old, but I guess from data manufacturer, right? So let's hit check now. Ta-da! This PC meets the Windows 11 requirements. Hello, hallelujah. So we can actually run it. Now, here's another thing. You can hit on see all results. Okay, we have Secure Boot. We have TPM 2.0 enabled. So you must have an authentic TPM 2.0 of some form. It could be a firmware thing. It could be a hardware thing. As long as you have that little bugger and it can be turned on, turn it on because you're going to need to. Because if that's missing and that's the only thing missing, then yeah, you got to find it in your BIOS and activate it, reboot, and rerun the checker, and you should come up that everything else is fine as long as you meet the rest of the requirements too. So it's going to tell you minimum requirements and of course what you actually have. So the processor is supported. It's an AMD Ryzen 7 2700 8-core. Okay, I have at least 4 gigs of RAM. Yep, I have 16. System space, 64 gigs or larger. I have half a terabyte. Processor has 2 or more cores. Now this is a falsehood right here from Microsoft. Because it doesn't matter if you actually have a 2-core chip. You do have to have a minimum of a 2-core, but only specific chips are going to be supported. And that even includes Intel's. Because for giggles, I actually ran this program on my Mac Pro with running Windows 10 on it, and I ran the checker, and it said that my Intel chips were not supported. Okay, that was one of the things it flagged. Okay, and of course I don't have a TPM module, and there's no way to activate one because, sorry, Macs don't have BIOS chips. At least not like a PC would. So we have no way of getting into them that way. But anyways, so not all Intel chips, not all chips are going to be supported just because they're a dual core. Okay, so Microsoft still has some little sloppy stuff there. But mine has 8 cores, we're good. Processor clock speed is 1 gigahertz or faster. My clock speed is 3.2 gigahertz base frequency. I can crank mine up by just hitting a little program, going click, click, and I'm running over 4 gigahertz per core. So anyways, so now we go into, let's hide these results. Let's go into device specs. Okay, we find out more through device specs. Windows 11! Okay, so looks pretty, doesn't it? Nice, very cool. Yeah, gotta love that Surface, not? Anyways, minimum system requirements. This is where things go weird with people, and they're not quite understanding. So the processor must be a 1 gigahertz or faster with 2 or more cores, and compatible 64-bit. Well, I've got 64-bit dual core in that Mac, and it still doesn't like my processors. Anyway, 4 gigs of RAM minimum, 64 gigs or larger storage, UEFI secure boot capable. If that's missing or it's turned off, you need to turn it on. So if you're running legacy support, which you would only be running if you're running below Windows 10, but if you're running Windows 10, you have to be running UEFI Secure Boot. TPM, Trusted Platform Module, version 2.0 as a minimum. Nothing below, apparently, but it has to be the minimum. Click here for instructions on how your PC might enable to meet this requirement, because it might not be enabled. Graphics card has to also be there, okay? So it has to be compatible with DirectX 12 or later with WDDM 2.0 driver, minimum. Now I've got a 4 gig video card, shares 8 gigs of system RAM on top of it, gives me 12 gigs worth of glorious video. Display, high definition, minimum 720p, and a display that is greater than 9 inches diagonally. So basically, you need a 9.5-inch screen or 10-inch screen or larger. 8 bits per colored channel. Internet connection with a Microsoft account and internet connectivity required for setup for Windows 11 homes. You actually have to have an actual authentic Microsoft account, which is not a big deal. Your device must be running Windows 10 version 2004 or later to upgrade. Free updates are available through Windows Update in the setting, Update and Security. Now, another thing I love to nitpick on you people over, and everybody else I meet in my life, is to keep your bloody computer updated. And don't rely on the auto update system. The last big update we just got had to be manually triggered, okay? And a lot of your updates have to be triggered. You know, some things will automatically go through, no big deal, right? Does it all in the background. It's why your computer is running so slow all of a sudden. It's downloading stuff, okay? So that's probably what's happening. That or something else going wrong. But regardless of the fact, not all updates are automatic. You must trigger them, especially some of the major updates. You have to trigger that yourself. Always make sure your computer is up to date, especially for security. Because if you're running a now unsecure version of Windows 10, you have some really bad security issues right there, you know. And that's another thing where, you know, this person was saying, oh, you're fine to just keep running Windows 10 indefinitely. Wrong, because when Microsoft cuts off Windows 10, all your security updates are being cut off too. Okay, so you have to have a secure OS and a secure browser to be secure on the internet. I did my own testing recently, even with, what do you call it there, on my one Mac Pro. It's running El Capitan. Now, El Capitan has not been supported by Apple in years, okay? But I can still install an up-to-date Google browser and have my secure browser. But it doesn't make me secure on the internet because my main unit, my main operating system is not secure. So I would get kicked off a lot of websites saying, hey man, your computer is not secure. You're not getting on here. Okay, so you will get kicked off a lot of websites. So you have to have both to be secure. And then this way, if something does hit the fan on you, like you get hacked somehow, and stuff gets ripped off of your bank accounts or whatever, then those companies have no choice but to come good. But if you're not secure, they don't have to come good for squat. You know. So anyways, so that's what we've got now. As far as clicking here, this is where it's going to get us into another website for checking out TPM stuff. So it tells you some basics here on how to actually do this yourself, so you don't actually have to go to a technician, hopefully. Okay, and it goes through all the instructions. And by the way, do not use the quotation mode. Just type in tpm.msc. Okay, don't use the quotes. They even tell you not to do that. How to enable your TPM gives you some basic instructions. If you're unsure how to make these changes, contact companies like Asus, Dell, HP, Lenovo, and so on, depending on your manufactured computer. Okay, and if it's a home-built system, well, you're going to have to check with that motherboard manufacturer of your motherboard, and they'll tell you how to do things. All right, so, and if you don't have a TPM module on your motherboard itself, you may yet have one built into your processor that is just turned off, and you need to turn it on, but you have to do that through the BIOS regardless. So, anyways, well, if you're ready for Windows 11, awesome. If you're not, go through all of this stuff, okay? All of it. So go through the website, go through the program, make sure, find out what's not ready, see what you need to do to maybe activate some stuff. And again, don't rely on people spreading out BS that you can stick with Windows 10 indefinitely. You know, just because there's, you know, over, you know, almost 2 billion computer users using Windows doesn't mean that the manufacturers have to keep supporting their hardware indefinitely, okay, for Windows 10 or any Windows operating system for that matter. They can cut it off whenever they darn well please. I had a $4,000 laptop from Dell that was not even 2 years old. Windows 10 came out, okay? And we weren't the only ones affected. Many people had issues with their computers that weren't Windows 10 capable. And mine turned out to be one of them. And Dell said, no, we're not supporting any of it. You know, that's not up to us. You guys custom built this machine for me to my specs, therefore you are responsible. Well, they don't want to take responsibility. They want to sell you the computer and they want that monthly payment for the next 4 years out of you, but they don't want to support the hardware in that sense. That was kind of really upsetting, which kind of turned me off of continuing as a Dell customer. And I've been a Dell customer for years up until this point, you know, because I really liked the fact I could finance something over 4 years, get top of the line kind of thing, or as close as I can get to top of the line and still afford the monthly payment. But I ended up with their actual top of the line laptop minus a fingerprint scanner because of a warranty that 3 times in a row it went in, and their policy is 3rd time's a charm. They'll just replace it. And they allowed me to pick out anything I wanted. And I'm like, you are so going to regret doing this because I'm going to go nuts. You know, but I verified. Can I just pick out whatever? Oh, yeah, definitely. Your warranty is covered because I bought a warranty on top of the normal warranties that allows me a lot of extra benefits. So it paid to actually have that external warranty. So I just matched up whatever I wanted and said, here you go. You know, I said, the computer is actually costing almost twice as much as what I paid for it. Doesn't matter. We'll have it sent out to you in a couple of days, no problem. I'm like, sweet. So that was nice. But that was the same computer that when Windows 10 came out, they're not going to come good for Windows 10 of anything. And that turned me off. So yeah, I hate it when companies just won't support their own stuff. But there you go. Anyways, hopefully this video helped you guys out and you get a lot out of it. And like I said, do check on everything. Make sure you're all cool on your stuff. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.